We operate in the world of financial services, so there's a lot of consideration of what's happening on the macro, what's happening with rates, what's happening with funding environment, new business, et cetera, right? So I think with a lot of uncertainty that's come about with tariffs and what that means for like the broader economy growth, is that inflation a real risk? It's really impacted how we think about scenario planning for the company and really making sure we're striking a balanced path through that. Where I think there are worlds where maybe nothing like really changes. I think there's still a lot to be figured out in terms of what the downstream impacts of tariffs really are over the course of the year, regardless of what's happening in equity markets. So I think our job was really become like, how do we make sure our companies and our leadership teams and founders are taking a balanced approach between balancing kind of some of the uncertainty? What does that mean in terms of like how quickly or how heavily we do invest in like new areas while we are trying to go multi-product? And I think that's part of the challenge. Like you don't want to be too conservative and operate in a world where uncertainty leads to like lack of action. You also don't want to operate as if like nothing potentially could change in the future.
I'll say one thing is that for me, I try not to be reactionary. And so what I mean by that is we have like a cadence. After each quarter, we evaluate downside risk and all these things. And so I really try and keep the steering wheel steady at the organization. So I try not to have the news drive the business and kind of whipsaw us. I think as leaders, and I'm sure my peers up here would agree, our job is to kind of stabilize things inside the organization. And so for me, it's more, hey, let's reevaluate, let's look at it. Now, obviously, there are unique challenges that weren't always presented a year ago, but I really try and take it from a more measured approach with the business. And yes, there is, as you kind of mentioned, there's this investing in new versus the existing and making sure you're balancing that. But I really try and have it be a cadence. So my team is kind of like, hey, there's all this craziness happening, but we're going to do this again. We do this every quarter. We look at what's the downside case scenario. This is normal for us. It's a cadence. It's not like something like, hey, we've never done this before. And so I try to really kind of instill that inside the organization. I think in terms of what I'm seeing out there, I mean, I don't sell finished goods. I'm a software company. And so I feel bad, that I don't have to have tariffs affect me directly, but it does affect our customers and our prospects, right? And so I do have a lot of sympathy for them and what they're dealing with out in the market. I sell the retailers, sell the banks, I saw the communications, insurance companies, everybody's trying to deal with this. And then more recently, obviously what's happening with big pharma, we saw the pharmaceutical companies, everybody has the kind of data problem that we serve. And so I have a lot of sympathy for our customers and our prospects and helping them kind of navigate it and being really a thought partner with them.
I've invested a lot in data and systems to be able to observe what's actually happening on the business live, seeing what's happening to the contracts, seeing what happens to customers' usage data. Because I also don't want to be in a situation where you're like, hey, we got a problem here, we got a problem there, and then you sort of lose track of perhaps the big picture. So in an uncertain environment, which I think we're in, even though things are going great, the best thing you can do is, very closely monitor all the internal metrics and try to make sort of the best and most informed decisions you can based on that data. Making sure I have access to that information, because what you don't want is to be sort of very surprised when 6 months later, all your business metrics are looking in the wrong direction. And there were probably early signs there that you could have looked into, like is ACD slowing down, is average deal cycle like longer, are there more approvals, like what's actually sort of happening on the ground in the business. So making sure you have like your finger on the pulse on that, which can sort of help inform your sort of forward guidance and forecast of the business.